Well, good morning and welcome to Rebellion Off-Road. For today's video, we're going to be doing an install on my wife's Jeep. We declared this a maintenance weekend. I had to rotate the tires and change the oil in one of my Jeeps, so it wasn't feasible going out today, but the long weekend's coming up and camping. That'll be probably the next video that you'll see. But anyways, let's get started with today. Today's install we purchased out of pocket. Once again, we don't have any sponsors or anything such as that. So I'll show you what we're going to do. I picked these up from Canadian Tire. They're called the Afina Under Glows Flow. So another fancy word is the lights do stuff, and we're going to put it on an app. But I don't do anything normal. We're going to be putting these on the inside of her Jeep because Jeep lights, or the lack of lights on the interior at night, is just really crappy. So I'm going to give her a little bit of flare. She can choose what lights she wants to. They're waterproof. So first things first, she doesn't know about that I'm doing this. So it'll be a surprise to her, being that she's not well. So what we're going to do is, obviously, when you put stuff together like this, you want to remove the lids, so the rooftop, and I'm going to remove the back here, just so that when you're doing installs like this, you're not guessing later on. You know, you can do the install from inside and then later on say, well, I didn't account for taking my roof off and that. So start with taking the roof out. I'm going to take the seat out of the back, and we'll go from there. We'll see how it looks. So the next time, the roof will be off. It's all ready to go. Now I got to check on what's in the package, but I think there's 5 lights. They give you 5 lights to deal with. They're all pre-wired, so I might have to do something, but ideally I'd like to put some lights underneath the front, because that's where it's so dark in the back here. Like at night, you really can't see what's down there. Something falls down there and it's really hard to find. So I'm going to do that, and then at the back here, I think I'm going to be running along the top. I'm going to have here, I'm going to put one up in the center here so that it flashes back, gives some light to the back, and the same on the other side. And that should give some room when there's no seat in the back. It'll give you a nice light in here so that you can see everything at night, and it's not going to be interfering with the driver's side, you know, where the driver's light gets reflected off, say the window. Like if I put them here, it's going to reflect off the window, and these people in the back will see. If I put it up top here, it's going to shine up. So what I got here is just a little connector box. This will be what goes to my 12-volt power source. But none of these are going to work the way I want them to. I'm going to obviously use the control box, but I'll probably have to do some splices along the way here because they're just not long enough in the middles and not long enough at the ends. So I'll show you what I'm going to do once I get them installed. I want to cut all these and make them the length that I want, and then I'll splice them up. There are only 4 wires in between. Okay, so I'm going to just give you a little update to where I'm at right now. None of the lights will work according to the way the wire's given, which is not a big deal. You can always cut and solder, you know, as long as you match color for color, you should be good. I'm not adding a whole bunch of length, so the impedance shouldn't change that much on these LEDs anyways. So I'll just show you where I've mounted the first set, and then how we're going to fish it through the frame, and then where the idea of where I'm going to go with this stuff. So underneath here, you can see up underneath, I just put some tie wraps for that glue to have a good strength hold, and plus I don't want it to come down ever. I'll cut all these tie straps later, and you know, we'll make it all nice and clean. This wire here is one of the cut wires, and I'll have that run down inside this frame. I'll pop it out the bottom underneath here. This is where they run all their wiring anyways. And then I'll put a new piece that runs all the way the length up here, and then I'm going to join it back up. This is where I'm going to put that module, is behind this cover carpet. I'll see if I can get to the other side. It'll be right here. So behind the driver's seat, it's going to go right here. And what I've planned to do is this light is right here. So I'm going to fish that wire. Once I'm ready, I'm just going to go down the frame, and it's going to meet up with that one, the way I'm running things. And it could change. Like I say, once I find where to feed wires through and stuff like that. And then I'll bring 12 volts from Colleen's switch pod, which is up here on the dash. That's already in the front compartment. I'm going to put it on a switch so it already has a 12 volt relay and a fuse to it, and then she'll be able to operate it just from that. So this is just a piece of copper wire that I fed through the frame up top here, in the top, and it goes along here and comes out here. So I'm going to fish that wire back in here and just kind of park it here, because there's a place that I can go down the frame. and that's where I'm going to go, down this frame, and then I'm going to kick it out where the carpet is, and that's where it's going to be installed, the module. This way it's a little bit easier to access later on. This is all trial, so you know, I know it'll work, it's just it'll take a lot longer than I figured. Okay, back just to give you an update of what I've done thus far. I've basically put a bead of silicone along here. I got these tie wraps just temporarily holding it till the silicone dries. You can see it's nicely put on, it's not going to hang out. It's you know, tight in this corner here, so the lights are going to shine down. Then I've run it down through the frame, and this is where I'm going to splice this wire that has colors on it to this wire, and the same colors will apply. I fed it down through the frame, and it'll pop back out here where I'll do another connection here, and this will be back to the way it was when it was brand new, other than just putting an end on. Now, once again, I got to put an end on here, and it'll tie into that controller, and I should be able to test that one set of lights out. As you can see, I just soldered these joints, and I'm going to tape them up as one unit. Obviously, they're individually wrapped with tape on each one of these. Then I'll bind them together and make it somewhat of the same cable, tuck them back behind, and start closing up the side of the Jeep. Okay, so I just taped those up individually. Just give you a quick show of what I mean by that. Hopefully you can see that. So they're individually taped. Now I'm going to tape them back onto the black one, make it almost the same size as the other conductor that's going down. The other conductor has a few extra wires in it, which, whatever, I probably won't use for anything, but in the event I need to fish anything down, there's some extra wires there. Okay, so that's the final product of it taped up. Now I'll tuck it back in the frame behind this plastic, and should be safe and sound. Okay, a little update here on the wiring of the lights here. So I'm down to the last splice here, the one that connects back up to the cable that plugs into the power unit. So what I had to do is I had to pull this out of the frame, because when I was fishing up this wire, it went behind the clip, so I had to get it around there. So you can fit wires down here, down this frame, right down here, but this clip has to be pulled out in order to make room for it. So now I'm just going to splice these up. Now if you notice, these ones are a little different. They only have 3 wires, whereas when it goes from light down to the other light, it's 4 wires. Not a big deal. As long as you match color for color, everything should go back to normal. So I'll solder these up, tape them, pull them down, and we'll go on to the next one. Okay, just finishing up the first install on 2 LED lights. So this is all taped up, ready to be tucked back up in. I'll close the panels. The tie wraps will stay until that silicone is dry. We'll wait until that's dry, then I'll cut these off. They're not needed. This here, I'm going to just fish down. You'll see how that fits in. And then what I did is, out of this latch system, I fished down the door and just tucked it in behind here. And what that'll do, this stuff is very pliable, so we can tuck wires all the way back, and I'm going to put the module back in here somewhere. 3 more wires to come down this chase, and it's not going to happen. So I'm going to run it up along here, inside where the speaker grills are, and I'll be able to fit 3 wires in there comfortably. So all that wiring will come through and then tie back down this column, and then back into here where the module will be. Okay, a little progress update. This is Colleen's S-Pod here. This is where we're going to be putting on our LED power, because it's fused, it has relays, and it's separate than our vehicle electronics. So there's no possibility that if I put it on there and the throws an error code because it's not the right impedance and so forth. But I'm going to put it on the switch pod. She can power it up and then use the app. So what I did is this is going to be sleeved like the rest of the ones that I have here with this little cover, wiring cover harness. And then what we're going to do is I opened up her windshield, I lifted it open, and then what I did is I ran it up and down by her speaker grill. And I think I still got it open here. So if you open it up, you can kind of see where I run that. And that's totally fine. The water runs down, doesn't run up, so I think we're good that way. We're just gonna put her windshield back together, and then what I did is I dropped that wire down here behind. So from the speaker grill in the corner, back in the corner, you can't even see it in here because it's all hidden. It drops down, and then I'll tuck that all underneath this plastic, because that's where they run the wiring anyways, to the back of the Jeep, and then we'll run it back into that location power it up and we'll get some lights going here for her today. Okay, I gotta put that up there. Yeah, it's not fun taking all this stuff apart, but if you're gonna do it right, it's gonna take some time and work to get that right. Need some fish wires and stuff like that to fish them through, but it's all good. We'll have this done soon. Okay, so I got the final connections all routed to their home position here. I'm just going to show you real quick where I put the module and where the wires are tucked behind. I think we're pretty safe on everything. So once again, just so you see, I've run the wires all the way down this column in through the back. They kind of hook underneath here, and then they come back up, and just right in this area here, that module's tucked in back and behind here, and the wires are tucked down in here. So everything's spliced up back to this point. I still have to do the connections in the front on the motor part where the switch is, and I got to do the passenger side just underneath the seat there. There's a wire there I got to do, but we're getting there pretty close. Got everything wrapped up. I'm just going to go over a summary of everything that I've done. So far, I just got it on accessories, so don't mind the beeping. I got to find Sasquatch, zombie. So that's what it looks like. All said and done. I'll do a walk around the Jeep. I think it looks awesome, and she's gonna love it. So it gives all sorts of light back here, which I'm looking for. And you'll see once the lid's on. I'm gonna take another one maybe later tonight when the roof's back on. She doesn't know anything about this yet, so I'm gonna surprise her in the morning when she comes out and has a look at it. Underneath. That's what it looks like under there. We're going to go back one more side and under here. So it's been a full day. Well, not a full day. I didn't really start early this morning, but everything's tied in through the switch box. I got this all wrapped up. I like to put this wire protector on anytime you're going under something. It's tied in, it's ready to go. It's on its own switch. That's where these S-pods come in really, really handy, because all I have to do is hit a button and they go off. Now these LEDs, they go many different colors. They can strobe, they can do whatever they want to do, but I don't think she's really going to need it for any of that. You know, maybe if you're at any Jeep shows or whatever, it might be a cool thing to have, but in the long run, I think it's just more for the show of it all. And I took my time, and I think it looks really, really well, you know, and the roof can come off and she can, you know, basically show off her Jeep that way. Okay, so after a long day, I got the whole Jeep put back together. She still doesn't know about anything. She's figuring I'm working on something else on her Jeep, but doesn't know this for sure. So by morning, I'll probably try and grab another quick shot of her going in there, and I'll have the lights on for her. I'll just tell her to hit the top button and see what it does. But so far, so the roof's back on, everything's back on. I might do a night shot too, just to show you how much light it adds. Okay, so now we're gonna flip on lights. You can see what it looks like with the roof on. This adds such cool lights down there now. See? Now we can actually see what's down there if you drop anything, right? Because I just know the Jeeps are terrible for that. All the way back, so it looks pretty cool. I'm so excited to show her, you know. This will be definitely, it's going to go on my Jeep too, because I hate the dark spots in the Jeeps, and this way we can still take the roof off and everything's good to go. I think it's a good install. Anybody else? It's 2021 Jeep JL 2-door, and it would work for the 4 as well. Mine might be a little bit more challenging with the JK, because they actually have the insulated around the roll cage. So I don't know, I'll have to take a look at mine. Mine might be a little bit different install, but my roof doesn't normally come off because I have the Terraflex roof racks for my rooftop tent, so I don't normally take that off at all. So we'll see. Well, good morning. I'm off to go to work here. Colleen doesn't know that I have my GoPro in here. I left it in here last night for this reason, and we'll see what her reaction is to her lights. Okay, she's just pulling out now. Just hang on. You like it? Hit that top corner button there.
Holy shit, Paul.
You got some lights in there.
I thought you were doing this to your Jeep.
You were sick, so figured your Jeep was time to get something done on it, so.
That is amazing.
Awesome, I'm glad you like it.
Wow. That is
Be ready for long weekend.
Yeah, no kidding. Holy smokes. How did you do that? How did you hide them like that?
Well, you were sick, so it was pretty easy. Well, that one went over well. All right, that's it for this video, guys. Next weekend is the long weekend, and I'm hoping that Colleen's feeling better and maybe we can head out camping. It's a May long weekend. Usually that's when we head out, so hopefully we have some good content for you guys. Until then, we'll see you in the next one.